Assalamualaikum and greeting to our lecturer, Madam Eri Malinda, and my fellow classmates. So in this video, we would like to present our infographic presentation for FIN533. There are two topics in this video. The first one is estate planning and the second one is retirement planning. Before we start our infographic presentation, I would like to introduce my group member. The first one is Olivia, second one is Atira, and the third one is myself, Muhammad Bazil. Will be presenting this infographic presentation.
The first reason as to why estate planning is important is to choose who inherits your assets. There are many things that can be considered a part of your estate. For example, your family home, a vacation home, real estate investment, or most cherished possessions. These things will get left behind if something happens to the owner of the estate, as it should be inherited by the heirs you designated. With proper estate plan, it will mostly be handled by court on who will get your assets. At times, there will be a fight occurs between siblings or potential heirs, and things may get ugly. By having a estate plan to decide whom will inherit what, a potential mess among family members can be avoided. Secondly, to eliminate or minimize tax burden. Taxes can cause bigger damage than you can imagine towards your estate, which means there's a possibility you will be leaving a lot less than what you wanted for your heirs. By a proper estate plan, your asset will be transferred with smallest tax burden and less costly and easier process for the heirs. It is best to make sure you are working with an experienced estate planning attorney in a way to reduce or eliminate tax burden, because without a plan, the cost will be outstanding. Next is to avoid family mess. Family fighting over assets of loved ones that have passed is not an uncommon occurrence, as it happens a lot more than you think. A lack planning of your assets can lead to that mess. By having your estate plan properly planned, can make sure the chosen person that will be in charge after your passing, your estate can be distributed to the person that you want, how much and at which they will inherit it. Also, this will keep things from getting ugly and family members going to court if a family members think that. Furthermore, to protect your young children. For those families that have children, they must prepare themselves for the worst that could happen. In addition, this will be specifically involved in setting a will, which is part of estate planning. In those wills, that how the underage children will be taken care of, and at the time when they come of age, what assets in your plan will they inherit.
There are few steps of estate planning process. The first one is assess family situation and set goals. Second step is gather comprehensive and accurate data. Third step is list asset and determine the value of the estate. The fourth step is design beneficiary of estate asset. Fifth step is estimate estate transfer cost. And the sixth step is formulate and implement your plan. And the final step is review and revise as necessary.
Errors that may occur in estate planning. The first one is not having a plan. Everyone does have an estate plan, just maybe not the plan that you had in mind. As not having a will indicates that at your death, the assets will be dictated by the inheritance law of the state that you were domiciled when you passed. Secondly is doing it online or DIY instead of professionals. There is a noticeable rise in the number of people who seek help through online to prepare their wills or trusts. Few dozen of websites do offer discounted estate planning documents. However, this may lead to a disaster. These internet sites may provide you with documents, but not actual device that fits you in context of your specific financial and personal life. Thirdly, leaving assets to a minor without dealing with guardianships. Appointing guardianships for your children that are still considered minor is a must thing to do, as they are unable to handle the money or assets themselves. Next is family disharmony. The death of someone you love can be stressful time for everyone that involved. A disharmony can occur among family members due to improper estate planning. Your estate planning may become a battleground for family politics and disputes that later can create a problem of disagreement and tensions. Lastly, second and third or fourth marriages. Children for previous marriage or blended family with multiple children and parents can delay a estate plan. Both of you and your spouse has already set aside assets for elder children, but at the same time have to consider the children that you have together. It should be clear who will get what and when. Potential estate planning problems and major causes or indicators. Excessive transfer costs, lack of liquidity, improper disposition of assets, inadequate income at retirement, inadequate income if disabled, inadequate income for family at estate owner's death, insufficient capital, and special problems. According to Wills Act 1959 Act 346, a will refers to a declaration intended to have legal effect of the intentions of a testator with respect to his property or other matters which he desires to be carried into effect after his death. Property or other matters can refer to his real or personal properties, the guardianship and the custody of any child, even at times of his charitable causes. Faraid is a section of Islamic law that deals with distribution of the asset of a deceased person to the heirs in accordance to Allah's decree in the Holy Quran and according to the hadith and tradition of Messenger of Allah. If he or she does not leave any will, then his or her estate will administered as intestate estate. This type of estate will be administered through summary administration, small estate or high court. For a Muslim, he/she can only distribute 1/3 of his/her estate through a will, and another 2/3 will be distributed through faraid. But for a non-Muslim, he/she can distribute all his/her estate through will. A Muslim will is an ikrar of a person made during his lifetime with the respect to his property or benefit thereof, to be carried out for the purpose of charity or for any other purpose permissible by the Islamic law after his/her death. A testator, the person who make the will that have to be at the minimum age of 18 years old, must be sound of mind. Will must be made in writing and signed, two witnesses to be present at the time of signing will. The witness cannot be beneficiary or the spouse of the beneficiary of the will. An executor, an individual that was appointed to administer the estate of a deceased person. A beneficiaries, individuals who are designated in estate planning documents that receive assets of the estate. Requirements of a valid will. The first one is mental capacity. Must be sound mind to make a valid will. Means that know what a will is and are aware that you are making and signing one. Understand your relationship with persons for whom you would normally provide, for example, spouse, children, and more. Understand what you want and are able to decide how to distribute your property. Secondly, freedom of choice, not under undue influence of another person. Threat, misrepresentation, some physical or mental coercion employed to destroy the testator's freedom of choice. Lastly, proper execution. A will must meet the requirements of the states or its equivalents and be free from fraud.
Okay, so let's talk about changing or revoking the will. Codicil. What is codicil? Codicil is a legal document that separates to your will that contains subsequent minor additions or amendments to your will. An existing will needs to be write a codicil to it. There are few reasons why changing a will. The first one is health or financial circumstance. Second one is birth, death, or marriage or divorce. The third one is testator move to another state. Next, executor, trustee, or guardian can no longer serve. And the last one is substantial change occur in the tax law. Revoking will may happen by the testator or the law when making a letter will expressly revoke prior wills. Second one is making codicils expressly revoke all wills earlier than one being modified. Next, making letter will inconsistent with a former will. Then the last one, physical mutilating burning, tearing, or defacing the will with the intention of revoking. There are few causes of inheritance under faraid. The first one is nikah, or by a valid marriage contract in Islam. Second is wala, or relationship. Wala is a relationship where the cause of inheritance of the emancipator to the state of emancipator slave is the benefit of the emancipator over the emancipated persons. Through this, emancipator become entitled to inherit from the estate of the slave whom he emancipated, irrespective of whether the emancipator is a male or a female. The third one is nasab, or kinship. Nasab is a relationship through the womb or blood. Through this kinship, the parent and whoever is related through them will inherit. Okay, so let's talk about faraid under male inheritor. The male inheritor are son, or father, or a grandfather, and a brother from whatever side, and also the son of a brother from who is related to the deceased father, paternal uncle, the son of the paternal uncle, the husband, and the emancipator who is related. If a deceased female leave behind all the above state male inheritor, only 3 of them can inherit. They are the sons, the father, and the husband. The father will get at 1/6 as a sharer, and the husband will get at 1/4 as a sharer, and the son will get the remainder as a residuary. Meanwhile, under faraid female inheritor, there are 7 inheritors, that is the daughter, son's daughter, mother, wife, grandmother, female emancipator, and a sister. If a deceased male leave behind all the above female inheritors, only 5 of them will inherit the estates. That is the daughter, son's daughter, mother, wife, and a full sister. The daughter will get 1/2 as a sharer. Son's daughter will get 1/6 as a sharer. Meanwhile, the mother will get 1/6 as a sharer, and the wife will get 1/8 as a sharer, and the full sister the remainder as a residuary. So the last one is interstate estate summary administration. Only Amanah Raya Berhad is empowered to administer an estate summarily under the Public Trust Corporation Act 1995. Estates are summarily administered without having to apply for a letter of administration from the High Court. The power is exercised due to whether there is a will or not. Second, the movable property is in Malaysia. Next, the value of such property does not exceed over RM600,000. The fourth one is no person is entitled to apply for a grant of probate. And the fifth one is there is no petition for a letter of administration pending. And the last one is there is a person making a claim on the property. There are few retirement planning process. The first one is you need to set your retirement goals. Second one is assess your current financial situation. The third one is identify retirement income sources. The fourth one is evaluate retirement risk. The next, understand healthcare issue. Besides that, you also need to invest your retirement assets. Other than that, manage your retirement income, and the last one is monitor your retirement assets.
What is retirement planning? Retirement planning is a process to determine retirement income goals by taking necessary action and decision. It's a process of change the risk of retirement planning to employees by shifting from defined benefit plans to defined contribution plans. Importance of planning. Importance of planning is retirement planning can achieve a comfortable standard of living during retirement and to ensure adequate level of income needed during retirement. There are few retirement funding in Malaysia. In this video, we are focusing on KWSP or known as EPF. KWSP or EPF is known as Kumpulan Wang Simpanan Pekerja, is the oldest provident fund, was established in 1951, and its support provides for workforce retirement savings and provides a convenient framework for employers to meet their statutory and moral obligation to their employees. There are two contributions that can be made in APF, which is mandatory contributions and voluntary contribution. Mandatory contributions is money credited according to rate from employee monthly wages to individual account in APF. Salary of 5,000 and below will contribute 11% with employer contribution of 13%, and exceed 5,000 will contribute 11% and an employer contribution of 12%, which will be credited into account 1, account 2, account emas, or account 55. Voluntary contributions consist of self-contribution and aisaraan, aisuri, and top-up saving contribution. Self-contribution and aisaraan, which was for self-employed and don't have regular income. 15% additional contribution in government and death benefit 2,500 and will earn annual APF dividend. Second is aisuri, made for housewife only, will be receiving government contribution of 200 in 2018 and subsequent years 480, and as usual will earn annual APF dividend and receiving death benefit 2,500. And the last one is top-up saving contributions, is for a person who can contribute toward a family member, such as children to parents, wife to husband, parent to children, and husband to wife. Components in APF is number 1 is current saving and saving account directing crediting. Number 2 is housing loan account directing crediting panel banks. Number 3 Prima panel bank. Number 4 fund management institutions. Number 5 participating institutions under e-pengeluaran buy or build home. Number 6 participating institutions under e-pengeluaran reduce or redeem housing loan and housing loan monthly installment. And the last one is participating institutions under e-pengeluaran education. There are two withdrawal of money can be made, which is partial retirement and full retirement. Partial retirement is to withdraw a certain amount from your saving before you reach the retirement age 50 years old. And there is categorizations of requirement, which is age 50 you can withdrawal from account 2 for education withdrawal, and also to buy home or to build home, also to reduce and redeem housing loan. Another purpose is to fund your housing loan monthly installment because you want to pay monthly housing loan installment, or for to fund your flexible housing and prima housing. Furthermore, you can also withdraw the money from account 2 in order to perform haji or to cover medical expenses or to buy healthcare equipment. The last one is you want to withdraw from account 2 in partial retirement because it's more than 1 million saving and iLestari online, which means a monthly withdrawal scheme that provide member financial aids during the COVID-19 pandemic. Full or retirement withdrawal is withdrawal of your saving upon reaching your retirement age under requirement of age 55 and age 60, where you can withdraw from both account 55 and account emas. And the number 2 is purpose of pensionable employee, and optional retirement is for the public service person only with pensionable worker status. Number 3 is incapacitation for health purpose. for a person who physically or mentally incapacitated. The number 4 is purpose of leaving the country that can be made by Malaysian citizen, permanent resident or non-Malaysian. And the last one is death. Is in the event of member death, they can be made a withdrawal all of your saving under APF or KWSP. There are risk factors that may affect the investment under APF and Perkeso, such as investment risk management. It was to support the investment process of the APF and ensure that proper risk governance is in place with regard to investment decision making. Number 2, market risk management, where risk of loss for changes in the value of portfolio and financial instrument due to movement of interest rate, foreign exchange and equity price. Number 3 is credit risk management. It's the risk of loss due to inability of unwillingness of borrower or counterparty to meet its payment obligations. Number 4, liquidity risk management. It was inability to meet financial commitment and obligations when default due. And the last one is operational risk management. This was risk of loss resulting from inadequate or failed internal process, people or system, or from external events.
There are few steps of retirement planning process. The first step is set your retirement goal. You need to decide the amount contribute for retirement saving by categorizing into long-term and short-term. Second step is identify your financial position. You need to manage your finance and income resource such as your salary, bonus received in a year, and other revenue such as investment on share, other assets such as land and a building. Third step is evaluate the risk affected the retirement planning. You need to evaluate the risk on the source of income and calculate the tax payable. Fourth step is calculate the future value of your current saving. Calculate the amount you can save on a retirement and other saving. The fifth step is understand your healthcare. You need to plan for your emergency fund before retirement to deal with the uncertainty. Identify the insurance coverage paid annually before retirement saving and calculate the amount paid into insurance and education planning. Sixth step is decide yearly consumption. Remove unnecessary expenses by deciding the amount contribute for entertainment such as vacation. Seventh step is identify and invest retirement income. You need to invest in source of retirement income such as EPF, stock store, and other savings that contribute income for your retirement, and allocate the asset by calculate the amount to invest on retirement. The last step is manage and monitor the retirement income. You need to identify dividend received for your investment and monitor your portfolio withdrawal rate. You also need to ensure sufficient assets to fully fund your retirement and detect early signs of inappropriate asset allocation. As a conclusion, I think that estate planning and retirement planning should be planned carefully so that we can have a better future. Besides that, estate planning and retirement planning is very important for all of us so that we can have a better financial stability in present and future. That's all for us. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.